Hello and welcome to the next tutorial. Now, we've added some code here. Now the important thing to know is where to add it. So look at your code and add it just above where you've got mgui.mainloop. It should go just above that code, and you're starting it after you've got mgui.config menu equals sidebar. So the next thing we're going to do is add some actual labels, an input box and a submit button to the central window in our GUI. Now the way we do that is one at a time. So first off, we're making a label, and the text is going to be write your diary entry below, just to prompt the user that this is where they need to input their diary entry. And mGUI is here because that's the overall window, so we're placing this label on the window that we named mGUI in the last tutorial. We store it in a variable called diary, and then the simplest way to put this onto the GUI is to use the .pack command. So we go diary.pack, and that will place it right at the top of the window. The .pack command will place objects in the order that you declare them, so this one will go at the top, this one will go below, then that one will go below that. So that's how you can control where they appear on the actual window itself. Now they just centralize, they're just centralized on the window as you put them. There's no control to move them really anywhere particular, just by using the .pack command as it is. However, there are other things you can do if you want to, move them around to different locations, like the far left, the far right, or even an exact coordinates, and I'll show you those later. But for now, we're just going to use the .pack command just as it is a very simple way. Two other methods you can use is .place or .grid, and if you want to go and do a bit of research on that and start using them a bit earlier, that's absolutely fine, or just hang tight and I'll cover those in later tutorials. So the next thing we need to do is make a text box. Now this is where they're going to actually type in their diary entry. So again, we just make a variable. I've called it text box because that's basically what it is, and in tkinter it's a type of entry widget. Again, we're putting it on the window that we called mGUI. Now this command bd equals 5, what this will do is it will make a border depth of like 5. So it will make it look more three-dimensional. It's optional, you don't have to have it there, but it does make it look more three-dimensional, which is quite nice. And finally, I'm specifying the width to be 80 because I want it to be enough to write a good sort of full sentence for the diary entry. And then again, I pack it onto the window, so that appears below the label. Now finally, we're going to make a submit button. So again, I've just made a variable name. I've called it submit because it's going to submit the text to the diary. We set it equal to a button object because we want a button to click on this time, and we're going to have the text to set to submit, or you could have it enter your diary entry, but submit is quite short and snappy. And then command is going to be equal to write to file. Now at the moment, if we leave this in, this will cause an error, because at the moment what will happen is when we click on the submit button, it's going to go and look for a function called write to file. We don't have one of these yet. We'll add that in the next tutorial, so just for now I'm going to remove that. We're going to put it back in later, but I just want to show you the code working. And finally, we actually pack the submit button onto the GUI. So if we run this now, you'll see what happens. Here we go. So we've now got the beginnings of our program coming along nicely. We've got a text entry box that we can write in. We can click on submit. We've got a file to open up the diary entry. It's coming along nicely. As yet, this button still won't do anything. This button won't do anything yet because we haven't yet written the functions, but I'll cover that for you in the next tutorial. So if you get this done first and then move on to the next tutorial, make sure your code runs without errors, and then you'll be ready to go to start finally putting in the actual functionality so you can write to a text file and open it again. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.